Alright guys, so I don't know for this channel, this is my first video and I actually wasn't expecting it to be my first video on the Reagan Rambles channel, but it's necessary, it's relevant, and we're here. I honestly wasn't planning on posting on this channel for a few weeks because I want to do more scripted stuff, like deep dives and stuff on here, and I'm still doing a lot of research for some of them. But I just felt like this was so necessary to talk about. I have notes. This isn't, again, scripted. I'm just in my closet. I don't know what the setup for this channel will look like. So yeah, let's start. I know that was kind of random. Hi, my name's Reagan. This is my second channel. My first channel, I do mostly makeup reviews and stuff. Okay, so I'm frankly kind of like traumatized from this past weekend. So I went down to Palm Springs for Coachella, which is in the Coachella Valley, which is like an Indio. I'm kind of newer to that region, so if I said that wrong, I'm sorry. And La Quinta. The people from there who were driving us around in the Ubers, lovely people. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. A lot of them, actually, the locals leave. We only talked to one who was actually from the region who just said like, yeah, I just decided to pick up this Uber shift and take you guys to the airport. And he was just telling us on the way to the airport, like, yeah, most of us locals leave and we Airbnb at our houses for this event because it's just so crazy. I was there actually not for Coachella. I just want to make that clear. I'm not a huge festival goer, like music wise. I prefer to go to concerts where I have a seat. That's just me. It's easier on me and my body to, you know, and my mind, honestly. I just feel like with this pandemic, I need to know I have like a space and like to feel comfortable and to avoid having like an anxiety attack. I need to like know that's my space. I can sit there when I need to. So I knew that going to like Coachella would not be for me, even though I do actually like Harry Styles. I do like Billie Eilish. I know that Kanye was supposed to perform and I've seen him perform live before and he puts on a really good show. Like he is very particular about his shows. He didn't perform. I'm not really sure why that was, but he didn't. And then there was some other people and other bands and stuff like that. Just little backstory history of Coachella. It began in the 90s with Pearl Jam. They were getting really annoyed with Ticketmaster. So they had their first concert there and that kind of proved to the Coachella Valley Art and Music Association that they could do this, like they could have these huge concerts there. So that's how it began. It didn't really kick off and to be what it is today with like a couple of weekends until the 2000s. They started out with one weekend in the late 90s and did kind of music festivals. And it's always been kind of a culmination of art, fashion, and music. And I'm just looking at this. I was there for a party. I was actually the plus one of a friend. And these parties for Coachella are like super exclusive. Like basically my friend's a kind of like a bigger blogger and she works with this brand some, and they emailed her like a week before this event was to take place, which if you don't know, like you need to get your Coachella stuff like months out of in advance. Like you need to get your tickets, your place to stay, or else you're going to spend, I mean, places just get booked out or you're going to spend like 10 grand. Like Motel 6 rooms were going for like $2,000, $3,000 a night, some of them, which if you don't know the Motel 6, like it is not the Ritz-Carlton. So luckily my friend found an Airbnb that was relatively affordable. You're invited to these parties, but you still have to pay to get there and to get to the accommodations. And when you only have a week before, and I know this is going to seem super ranty and rambly and random, but that's the point of Reagan Rambles, is to like share with you guys stuff. But when you're planning something like a week before, you're paying those upcharges. Like typically to fly from San Jose to Palm Springs is like around $100. That's how much it is at least to fly to LA direct, because you don't have to pay like out of state fees and all of that. Well, for us, because we booked our tickets pretty last minute, we got lucky. Our tickets were about $400. Many of them were like 800 plus. The Airbnb was $700 a night. We were only there for 2 nights, but that is expensive as heck. And our Airbnb didn't even have a washer and dryer or a full kitchen. Like it had a bathroom, it was decent, it had air conditioning, like it wasn't awful. I can't really complain about that, but like it's so expensive to go to this and you pay out of pocket. And it's just interesting because I never really had seen this side of like influencer marketing. I always kind of assumed that like the brands paid for the people to be there. No, you have to pay for that yourself out of pocket. And it's basically just another means of like exposure. Like that's all you're getting from it, is you get exposure for like being there that weekend. So I'm going to talk about the event in a second, but I just kind of want to talk about like kind of leading up to the event, like, you know, getting these last minute tickets, the expense of it. Coachella is going on, and now these parties have started to happen around Coachella because it's a huge marketing event for tons and tons of brands. It's pretty close to LA. It's about a 2-hour drive, so it's pretty easy for a lot of these brands that are based in LA to like come and set up shop and events here. And especially because they get all these celebrities and stuff, which I will get into, to come out and promote them. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. So, okay, my friend and I get there and we get to, Indio. And we want to go straight to the event. Like we want to go straight and get our wristbands so that we have them. Well, that didn't work out. They sent us the wrong address, and this is super exclusive and you don't have any information. And basically we couldn't find the place. We racked up like $150 Airbnb ride, not Airbnb ride, Uber ride, driving around looking for this freaking like abandoned random parking lot in the desert, might I add. It is hot as fuck. I mean, it's miserable, but finally we couldn't find it. So we're just like, okay, just take us back to our Airbnb. So we were frustrated at that point. Wasn't a great start, but we're like, okay, well, tomorrow will be better. That's when the party is, and we'll just get to the line early. And we did. So we didn't want to leave again because there's so much traffic in this region and they block off so many roads that it's not worth it. We did have dinner reservations. We canceled them and we just ordered DoorDash. Yay. So the next day we get to, we get up early. We were having AC problems in the Airbnb. The guy comes to fix it. It's what it is. It's fine. Like we figure it all out. But we get up early and then we get ready and we go over to the event. So we're pretty early. Like they were supposed to start the shuttle at noon. That didn't happen. But we got there at 11 because we wanted to get our wristbands and be early to be in the line. So we get those. There was no problem with that. Well, they just have this like one thing of like a 24 pack of water sitting out for hundreds to thousands. I think there's like 2,000 people who are supposed to be going to this exclusive event. There was a packet, you know, one pack of water. And you are in the desert, guys. Like this was some poor ass planning. Like it was miserable. Like I'm still dehydrated. Like I'm still like coming off of this and I didn't drink. I had a drink, like had a glass of champagne, but it's not like I was like downing beer or something, which if you didn't know, alcohol really can dehydrate you. So I was drinking enough water, but it wasn't enough kind of thing. We needed more. And again, they only had a 24 pack at this event. So we get our wristbands and then we go wait in line. My dogs were barking because the mailman came. That's like their mortal enemy. It's what it is. But we got our wristbands, we're waiting in line, and they have this tent, but you can't go past this certain point to really get inside the tent. Like we were the last people who got any shade, and then the line starts to form outside again in the 96-degree desert heat. No shade, no water. We waited there for an hour and a half. We were supposed to leave at 1, but they finally opened up the security checkpoint to let more people be able to get into the tent. And we all go through security. That's fine and dandy, whatever. And we think like, okay, they're gonna get us on these shuttle buses and get us over there. No, we're waiting in the tent another hour and a half. Some of us are in the tent in the shade. Some of us are still standing out in the sun. Because it was so hot, there was no water. People were getting dehydrated. A couple girls had panic attacks. A couple girls became so dehydrated they were like fainting and had to sit down. And once we got to the event, they had to go straight to the first aid tent. So this was, honestly, it reminded me of Fire Festival, guys. Like, and I'm just there like observing. I'm a +1. I don't need to do anything. I don't matter. I'm not relevant to this event. I'm fine with that. But I'm just like observing all this and I'm like, wow. And honestly, I'll say this, I kind of assumed, and this is what happens when you assume things, that some of these influencers would be kind of assholes. They weren't. They were all really nice and kind. Like, I talked to so many nice ones. It wasn't honestly the influencers, because I read, you know, I think everyone like reads about bad experiences that like brands have with influencers, and I'm sure some of those types were there, but the people I was talking to in line, super sweet, super nice. Some of them left early, the line early, because you were waiting in it for like 2 to 3 hours without any water, without AC. And this is like, again, it's an exclusive event that they want you in this parking lot. Like, they say everything will be provided, but safety measures were not taken. Okay, so we finally get to this event, and it has been heavily marketed, and that's why it reminds me of Fyre Festival, because it's been marketed like all these Victoria's Secret, former Victoria's Secret angels are supposed to be there, the Kardashians, who else? Like all these famous people and all these, you know, you could see on their hashtag they were using. Well, here's what happened. Like, I thought that we'd be like, I'd be taking pictures and knocking elbows, but I did think these famous people would be there and like in the vicinity to see, like, you know, you'd see them and their crew. No, that didn't happen at all. So basically, after waiting for almost like 3 hours in the heat, some of us without shade, pretty much all of us without any water, we get to this event. I'm expecting that it's going to be this fabulous thing with all these celebrities. They tell us that we can wear swimsuits, and the style and the dress code for this, like they provided like swimsuit options, and I was like, I'm not wearing that. Now I understand why everyone's wearing these swimsuits around. Like, it's so hot, you don't want to be wearing clothes, but I get it. And you roll up to the event, and they have like these kind of displays set up, but that's it. And they're just like for basically everyone to take pictures, but there's nothing to actually do with the event. That's it. You can take pictures, and I guess if you have a lot of friends there, which my friend and I didn't, we were just there for like to see what it was like, and we thought that there might be like try-ons for some of the brands, because like Good American was there, 818 Tequila was there. We like thought maybe there'd be like demos or something, but it was just like signs for the brands for people to take pictures of, and that was it. Like, that was the event, was taking pictures of, like, that was it. There wasn't anything. They did have a concert like later in the evening, but if you got there around 2, you weren't going to stay 5 hours. There was nothing to do. Once you got like these influencers, once they got their like 10 pictures or whatever they had to get to post to social media, there was just nothing to do. And it was so hot. They had no shade at the event as well. Like, I'll show this picture of myself. There's me and the one shaded spot. I was so miserable, so dehydrated at that point. I just couldn't. My poor friend and all these other people are also like sweaty, hot, like, and everyone's supposed to make this look like it's this like fun event. There's nothing to do. There's like a little bit of food, so it's not quite like Fyre Festival like that. What I've kind of come to like terms with in my mind with calling this is like fear of missing out marketing. So you have these celebrities who came like the day before or like hours before all of us like peasants come, I guess, I don't know. And they take all their like promotional pictures and then they're posting about it. So you think like, wow, cool, they're going to be there. And then you get there, they're not there. It's hot AF. There's no shade. They do have some water. I will give them that. Once we actually got to the event, they had coolers of water, but the damage had been done waiting in line, frankly, dehydration wise. And there was just no shade. So you couldn't really just sit anywhere. And I think that, you know, the millennial generation who is there and the Gen Z generation that's there, we're huge sunscreen fiends. Like, if you know, talk to anyone, a lot of us care about our sunscreen and our skin. We weren't all laying out. Like, I don't know, there was just like a lack of awareness with that. And there should have been a sunscreen sponsor there, frankly, like someone like applying sunscreen to us, or like we, you know, you could apply it to yourself. No, that didn't exist. Luckily, like just for my friend and I, like I did have sunscreen, but I tried to stay in the shade. Here's pictures of me I was just like a lurker. I probably looked like a creep. I was wearing like the promotional hat that they gave us. That was like the one thing they did give us to give us shade, I guess. And then I picked up a fan and I was just like standing in the corners and stuff in the shade while she was having to get her pictures and stuff. But it was not what I thought it would be. I honestly, and maybe it's my own fault, I kind of thought that coming out of this pandemic, this would be kind of a fun event to go to, like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I'm not going back to anything like this. That's all I can say. I will go to like small events that are more personalized, and I'm not saying exclusive small, I'm saying like personalized, where it's like, okay, you know that everyone is like being treated right. Because I just think that when you have this exclusive event, but for like thousands of people, it's hard to have safety measures, and it's kind of scary. I'm just looking through this. I just put like people passing out like 3 times in my notes, and like fear of missing out, and is this ethical marketing? And I would kind of have to say like, no, because it was miserable, guys. It wasn't fun. You know what the most fun part of the weekend was? Hanging out with my friend, doing face masks in our Airbnb, and eating DoorDash, and that's all we did, aside from going to the event. And the event, we were only there for like an hour, maybe hour and a half, and it probably would have been way cut short if like lines to take some of these pictures weren't so long. I ended up, the only place that had AC, I went into the little porta potty bathrooms that had AC, and I sat there for about 10 minutes because I needed to cool down. But you're not missing out. That's the thing I wanted to say. Like, I'm from the Midwest where like this stuff doesn't happen as much, and I always like envied people who live on the coast and were going to these cool events and stuff. But now that I've been to it, it's just like, wow, that was it. It kind of feels empty. Like, I feel more like full now being at my house. My husband's at work right now, but like being at my house with my dogs, like talking to my family, like having close friends. Like, luckily my friend and I are close. It was, you know, fun being with her, but that was it. Like, we kind of thought it was going to be like fun times there, and it just wasn't. And the influencers were nice. No, I can't say anything bad about the influencers. It was just the event itself. It's just set up to make everyone who's not there jealous they're not there. But if you are there, you're miserable. And you're not, you know, knocking boots or elbows with celebrities. No, you aren't. You're just taking pictures. And there's no opportunity to even like talk with like, and I'm saying this from an influencer business perspective. It's not like you get to like speak with the brand founders or anything. And I get it. Like, these are kind of large brands, but at the same time, there's no like demonstrations or education. And whenever you're putting out content or coming out with events, they always say you need to educate, inspire, or entertain. I was not getting any of that from this event. I wasn't getting educated about any of the brands or products. I wasn't, maybe there was some entertainment at 7 p.m., but I was there at 2 or 3. And I wasn't really, maybe it was inspiring to see some of these other cool influencers who like had built businesses out of nothing and kind of talk with a couple of them, but we were talking in the long ass lines, and honestly, maybe there was a little bit of tribal mentality and bonding going on, because there was some survival that had to occur for us, you know, like fanning each other and like providing space and like, do you have sunscreen? Do you have water? Like, there was some camaraderie, excuse me, in that, but 0 out of 10 would not recommend. If you are not going to these exclusive events, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I've been to them. I never need to go again. It's not something I'm into. I understand it's a marketing thing for a lot of these brands. I think the brands that are there need to do a better job of, again, entertaining and inspiring and informing people about their brand. And it honestly, kind of just thinking back right now, I didn't put this in my notes, but it just felt like a Kardashians event. And I actually have a lot of respect for the Kardashians in terms of their business. There's things I don't like about them. There's things I think are kind of cool. But this was like to promote all their businesses, basically. It was, I'm just done. Like, I'm done. I don't need to go back to that. I'm fine. I'll just create my little videos. If 10 people watch them, it's what it is. But I just want everyone who's in the Midwest or not able to go to these events, not able to afford them, to know, like, it's not that great. Honestly, it was kind of like Fire Festival. But I just wanted to share with you all. I don't know if this was boring or interesting. If you have any questions, just let me know down below. I'll be honest, I'll just say I cried when we got back to the room. Like, I had like tears in my eyes, and I was just kind of disappointed because, you know, time's important. I think that's something we've all realized with this pandemic, and like I feel like it was just a big waste of my time and like my friends' time, and we could have done other things with our weekend, and it just kind of felt like a facade. That's just what it was, a big freaking facade. So yeah, like this video, subscribe to the channel because it's a new channel. I'll try and have more, I'm trying to do a weekly video on here again. This was just impromptu because I wanted to share about the weekend. I'll need to figure out my backdrops and stuff and my lighting. Trying my best with what I got, but I wanted to share because it wasn't fun. I'm traumatized, frankly. Like, and I'm still a little bit dehydrated. Like, I got a Gatorade after the event and I never drink Gatorade. It wasn't fun. But hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Bye, guys. Okay, I forgot something, but I wanted to add this in. So we took one of the first shuttles back. Everyone on our shuttle, and it wasn't a full shuttle, but I'd say there was like 30 people. We were all pissed off and disappointed and just like, that sucked. So it wasn't just me and my friend. There was a lot of us, and I'm kind of curious if you were on that shuttle or if you went to these events, your thoughts, because there was quite a few of us who were not happy. And it wasn't just not happy, it was just like, frankly, like dehydrated as well. I mean, there's a lot going on. But yeah, bye guys.